Well, hi everybody, and welcome back to Eigo. This week I'm going to be talking to you about the word almost. I know a lot of my Japanese students have a hard time with the word almost, and the word actually almost and the word most. I was thinking about doing a video on both almost and most today, but as I got into the almost part, I started coming up with so many different things I have to tell you that I thought, well, I'll do just almost this week and we'll dig into most next week. So let's take a trip into the world of almost, shall we? So the word almost, the thing to remember about almost, the most important thing to remember when you're using almost is that it's an adverb. Adverb. Now, adverb, you may know, is called fukushi in Japanese. Adverb. So an adverb is also what we call a modifier. And a modifier is shushokugo in Japanese. So a modifier connects with another word to give some kind of meaning to it. So, what kind of words can an adverb modify? Modify is shushoku suru. So an adverb can modify a verb, of course, doshi. It can modify an adjective, keiyoshi. It can modify another adverb, fukushi, or it can modify a sentence. Okay, these are some grammar rules. You don't have to think about these all the time when you're speaking English. But the thing I want you to remember in this case is, notice, verb, adjective, adverb, or a sentence. An adverb cannot modify a noun. Meishi cannot modify a noun. This is so important for Japanese people to understand, because many Japanese students of mine make the mistake. They'll say something like, almost Japanese. Japanese is a noun, so almost Japanese is wrong. Or they might say, people is also a noun, so almost people is also no good. So remember, almost is an adverb, and it can modify a verb, adjective, adverb, or a sentence, but it cannot modify a noun. So you might ask, how can I keep this straight? Well, the thing to do is remember, maybe you know, but an adverb, or adverbs, I should say, often ends in ly. Okay? You have words like quickly, slowly, quietly, differently. Ly is always an adverb. So, but you might say, well, but almost is doesn't end in ly. What's a good way to remember that it's an adverb? Please remember that almost is the same as nearly. And there you are. There your ly. The ly of the adverb is right there. Nearly. You know the word near means close to. So nearly means almost the same. Okay? So let's take a look at some examples and see what we can do about this. So first of all, let's look at the word almost with some verbs. All right. So here we have almost examples 1. And these are, I didn't put full sentences. Just try to catch how these words connect to each other and listen to the intonation and try to catch it. So please repeat after me. Almost finished. Almost choked. Almost collided. Almost dropped. Almost fell. Almost destroyed. So you can see that these are all verbs, the past tense verbs. For example, I almost finished my homework. It means near finished, nearly finished. I almost choked on the food. The cars almost collided. That means they came close to colliding. Okay? So remember these examples. Almost plus verbs. Now, almost can also, you notice that almost always comes before the verb that it modifies. In the case of a be verb, that almost will come after the be verb. All right, be careful about that. So here you have be almost something. All right, let's look at these verbs that we have here. Please repeat. I am almost finished. Now here, if you're talking about grouping, almost finished has to be together, has to be a group. So if you want to pause, you shouldn't say, I am almost finished. That's really horrible. Sounds really horrible in English. You could possibly say, I am almost finished. Okay. So before almost, you can pause. If you pause too long, it sounds strange, but try to notice the separation when I speak carefully. When I speak quickly, try to notice from my intonation or my pace or my tempo how there's a separation before the word almost. So please repeat. I am almost finished. She is almost 12 years old. They were almost late. John is almost 6 feet tall. It is almost 10 o'clock. She is almost always late. Okay, there you have almost examples with a be verb. Next, we have another set of examples. We got a lot of them, so be ready. And these are almost examples with adverbs, okay? Almost examples with adverbs. Again, we're just going to do combinations of words. Please listen, try to repeat. Almost ready. Almost certain. Almost immediately. Almost double. Almost certainly. Almost sure. Okay, you have that. So that's almost plus an adverb. Another way that we use almost is with words like every, all, nothing, no one. And that is a set. So you would say almost every, almost all, almost nothing, almost no one. All right? So these are some examples of using those words. Please repeat after me. Try to group correctly. We can pause a little bit before almost when it's in the middle of a sentence, or we can pause at the end of a almost phrase when it's at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, so I'll give you some quick readings and slow readings, so please listen. First of all, slow reading for the first one. He watches TV almost every day. All right, now listen at high speed. He watches TV almost every day. Quite a little bit separation. The second one is at the beginning, so listen to this. Almost all of the boys stood up. If you're going to pause, you have to pause after boys. You have to keep all that beginning together. Listen again at a little bit higher speed. Almost all of the boys stood up. Okay, let's look at the third one. This one has two pauses. After 10 years, almost nothing changed. Okay, a little bit quicker. After 10 years, almost nothing changed. All right, look at the next one. Please repeat this first slowly. Almost no one came to the party. All right, more quickly. Almost no one came to the party. Okay, the next sentence, slowly. He could meet almost everyone. A little bit more quickly. He could meet almost everyone. And finally, the last one. Almost all of us want to go. A little bit more quickly. Almost all of us want to go. Okay, could you do it? Let's do one more. We got one more style for using almost. And this is almost always, almost never. All right, this style is very, very popular. We use this a lot when we native speakers talk to each other. So let's try repeating. He is almost always kind. Okay. Number 2, Japanese trains are almost always on time. The Ginza is almost always crowded on weekends. The sentence that we just did actually has two pauses, so let me read it slowly one more time. The Ginza is almost always crowded on weekends. So, more quickly, the Ginza is almost always crowded on weekends. So in the first sentence, we said he is almost always kind. So the next example sentence, he is almost never rude, is the same meaning. Always kind, never rude. So please repeat. He is almost never rude. The next sentence is also the same as the one above. We said previously, Japanese trains are almost always on time, so that means almost never late. So please repeat. Japanese trains are almost never late. And the final one, again, we're going to have to pause 2 times. So let's please listen. I'll read it slowly first. I almost never go to the Ginza on weekends. More quickly. I almost never go to the Ginza on weekends. Okay, how did you do? Could you follow this all right? Could you catch everything that we're trying to say here? That's about everything you need to know about almost. You have to get used to it, get used to hearing many different patterns. But the thing to remember always is that almost is an adverb, and you shouldn't try to connect it with a noun. Okay, let's go over to our whiteboard for a while. Now, as I told you before, that almost is an adverb. And because it's an adverb, it cannot connect to a noun. So to say almost Japanese is always wrong. Okay? Please remember that. You just can't do it. Whenever you have almost and you stick a noun to it, it's always wrong. However, remember in our examples that we just saw, we did see that you could say almost all. This is okay. So, since almost all is okay, it is possible to say almost all Japanese. No problem. This is perfectly good. So, almost a noun, always wrong. Almost all noun, this is a noun, okay. All right? So keep that in mind when you use the word almost. And then next week we'll be going into the usage of most. And once we are able to show you how these two words, almost and most, relate to each other, I think you'll have a good basis on using them correctly. Now, shortly I will put up another video that has not so much visual, but it'll be a recording of 50 sentences using the word almost that I think that you might be able to use to try to catch the intonation, the rhythm, the flow, the slight separation where it should go inside of sentences, and try to remember these English words in groups. And if you can master this grouping of English words, your English will become so fluent, and it'll improve your hearing too. So next week we'll be doing most. Have a good week. Study your English hard, and we'll be seeing you soon. Take it easy. Bye for now.